Hi everybody, Steve Griffiths here, developer of the MT Predictor software program. In today's video I'd like to look at a Holy Grail trade setup that we've got, or we've just had unfold on the Euro US dollar, which is what we're looking at here on a 5-minute chart. The Holy Grail trade setup was this TS4 buy setup here. So I want to go through the steps that defines our Holy Grail trade setup in MT Predictor. This is MT Predictor 7.5 I'm using here, so with e-signal data. First and foremost, you can see that the STF color is actually red. So for amateur traders or the new traders for MT Predictor, you wouldn't be taking these trade setups because they're against our STF color. However, the Holy Grail trade setup is an advanced trade setup that we teach you how to identify in our training webinars. So what are the main parts of the Holy Grail trade setup? Well, what it is a wave 2 correction into a wave 3 rally. So in other words, what we're looking for is an important low to unfold back here. We're looking for an initial rally which unfolds as a wave 1, or we consider that a wave 1. In Elliott wave terms, after a wave 1 we then have a wave 2 correction. Ideally that wave 2 correction should unfold as an ABC pattern, which if I place the analysis on here, you can see there's our ABC pattern coming down there. So this would be considered a wave 2, so therefore our target would not be our first decision point target as we have here. It would actually excuse me, it would actually be our typical wave 3 WPT. So let's piece this together and show you how we do this. So first and foremost, we have to start with how we define a larger degree or importance low. And actually I gave it away a bit there in that it was a larger degree support zone. So for this we move to a higher time frame chart. So from the 5-minute we move to the 15-minute and we place our DPs on our charts. For this we go back to the last major pivot low, which was here. We place the DP on from there, and as you can see that projected that out at that level there. One thing I want to stress is that these DPs are leading indicators. That's important to understand, is that these are on the chart before the market even gets there. In other words, they are leading the market. If I take this off and I use our training mode or our bar replay to go back to that low there, you can see before the market even gets down there I can go back to this low, right mouse click, place the decision point on, there it is before the market even gets there. Now if I tick forward, you can see the market then goes down and then provides support and starts to go up. But the point being is that these are on the chart ready there before the market even gets there. So that then defines the larger degree support zone. So on the 15-minute chart we have a larger degree support zone that gives the rally off that. If we now go back to the 5-minute chart, you can see there's our large degree support zone, which is actually great. So now we're assuming the large degree trend is up, therefore we're looking for buy setups. So the market made an initial rally off here. We're ignoring any sell setups because the large degree trend is up. So the initial rally off here, even though it's quite choppy, we'd assume to be a wave 1. We're then looking for a correction. The correction came down here into our TS4 setup, which we've already seen came in there. So how do we then project the wave 3 target, because we're assuming this is a wave 2? Well, for this again we need to have it in advance, and again we use our advanced tools in MT Predictor. So I'll just take this analysis off, clear analysis, and use our WP2. And in fact actually first I'll take the chart back to around here somewhere. In fact actually let's take it back even further. Let's take it back to right as of this setup. There's our setup. So our analysis now comes in here, as we've seen already. But we want to project the typical wave 3 WPT up. So for this we use our WPT or our wave price targets. We're looking for a wave 3 up, so we're doing here 3 clicks. First click is at the larger degree low. The second click is where we assume wave 1 is going to end here. The third click is as of the bar of our low there. And there it is. You can see our typical wave 3 WPT is projected there in advance. So we now know that this up here is our target we should be going for rather than the first target. And as you can see, this is all done in advance ready for the market. If I turn trading mode off, you can see that the actual euro did exactly what we anticipated. It rallied here, went straight through our original target, but went right up to our typical wave 3 WPT, where a profit of approximately 12R was available. As you can see, the market's declined quite significantly since then. Remember, we use correct position sizing to vary the number of lots, contracts or shares to keep our initial risk small under control, and therefore our profits are related directly to our losses. Just to double check this, if I actually clear our analysis and I clear our WPTs, I just want to go up to this level here and just show you that if I come down and do Elliott Wave Major, you can see that this is what we're actually looking to play. So there's our large degree support zone, which defines our important low. Here's our initial rally into a wave 1. In Elliott wave terms, after that we're looking for a wave 2 correction. The wave 2 should subdivide into an ABC pattern, which is what we had into our TS4 setup. We're therefore assuming that we're going to get a typical wave 3 WPT, or we're then going to get a wave 3 rally into at least the typical wave 3 WPT. That's our initial target, and as you can see, that's exactly what it did there. If I go back to the 15-minute chart, you can see this pretty clearly as well, where here's our 15-minute support, 1, 2. If I place the Elliott wave on here, that's exactly what we got as well. So that's the Holy Grail trade setup, where we go to the larger degree time frame. We place our DPs on our large degree time frame charts. As we've seen already, these are on the charts in advance, ready and waiting for you. So that prepares you for these support zones in advance. Once the market makes if the market makes a low at large degree support zone, as it did here, we're then waiting for the initial rally. We're then assuming that's going to be a wave 1. We're then looking for the initial correction down into here, which we assume is going to be a wave 2. We then go to the shorter time frame chart, in this case the 5-minute chart, and as we've already seen, I'll just clear all the Elliott waves there. We're then looking for an ABC correction. This is normally into a TS3 or a TS4 setup, which is automatically identified by the software. This then gives us our position sizing. Oops, sorry, I missed that. There we go, missed that bar there. It gives our position sizing. We can then use our WPT tool to project again in advance. That's the important point. All of this lot is in advance. The typical wave 3 WPT, that is then our target, because we're assuming after a wave 2 low we're going to get a wave 3 rally. And as you can see, this was an absolutely perfect example of the Holy Grail trade setup that's literally just unfolded on the Euro US dollar. So I do suggest you review this video again and go through the steps required, because these trade setups are so good, because in Elliott wave terms, the wave 3 is normally the strongest and longest wave in any completed 5-wave sequence. Therefore, to catch the entire wave 3 swing allows you to get in with the smallest initial risk for the largest profit potential, and that's why I've called this the Holy Grail trade setup, not because it has a high probability of success, but because it has the largest profit potential for the smallest initial risk. So I think it's one of the best trade setups you can uncover, and it's no wonder that W.D. Gann highlighted when he was trading, even before Elliott identified this as a wave 2. W.D. Gann said the safest place to buy any share, as he used to in those days, was on the initial correction in a new trend. And as we've seen, Elliott defines that as a wave 1. A wave 2 is the initial correction. The new trend then goes up. So this trade setup is not only based around a very reliable and good Elliott wave pattern, but it's also based around what W.D. Gann himself said was a great trade setup. So this is why I designed MT Predictor in the first place, to identify this very trade setup, and I think it's one of the best trades you can uncover. So I definitely recommend that you spend some time to get good at identifying these, because they are absolutely brilliant, and as you can see, have one of the largest profit potentials for the smallest initial risk.